What if learning a new language does much more than help you talk to new people? What if every new word you learn slowly changes the way you see the world? Most people think a language is just a tool for communication. But after some time, many language learners notice something unexpected. They don't only speak differently. They start thinking differently too. And once you notice this change, it becomes hard to ignore. Maybe you've had a moment like this. You wanted to say something in another language, but you couldn't find the exact words. Then, when you switched back to your first language, you realized your original idea had changed a little. It felt strange at first. But that small moment tells you something important. Language is not only about grammar and vocabulary. It also shapes how you organize your thoughts, understand other people, and even make decisions. This matters because learning a language is often difficult. There are days when you forget simple words. You mix up verb forms. You feel slow. Sometimes you wonder if all the effort is worth it. If your only goal is to order coffee or pass an exam, you might lose motivation. But when you understand that every lesson is also training your brain to think in new ways, the journey becomes much more exciting. You're not only building language skills. You're building a new way of seeing life. The first big change is that you become more flexible in your thinking. When you know only one language, your brain follows the same paths every day. You describe things in familiar ways. But a new language often asks you to express the same idea differently. Suddenly, there isn't just one correct way to explain something. Imagine you're talking with a friend in English. You forget the word umbrella. Instead of stopping the conversation, you say, the thing you use when it rains. It isn't perfect, but your friend understands. In that moment, your brain doesn't give up. It finds another path. The more often this happens, the more creative and flexible your thinking becomes. You stop worrying about perfect words and start focusing on communication. That skill is useful far beyond language learning. It helps you solve problems at work, in school, and in everyday life. The second change is that you become better at understanding other people. Every language carries a culture with it. Words are connected to traditions, habits, and different ways of living. As you learn, you begin to notice that people don't always see the world from the same point of view. Think about someone who moves to another country. At first, they may feel confused by small things. People greet each other differently. They joke in different ways. Even silence can have a different meaning. But after months of learning the language, those strange moments slowly make sense. The learner starts asking fewer questions like, why are they so different, and more questions like, what can I learn from this? That simple change builds empathy. You become less quick to judge and more willing to understand. This doesn't only happen when you travel. You might read a book in another language or watch interviews with people from another country. You hear ideas that don't always exist in your own language. Instead of thinking there is only one normal way to live, you begin to see many possibilities. That makes conversations richer and relationships stronger. The third change may surprise you the most. Many people say they feel like a slightly different person when speaking another language. That doesn't mean they become fake. It means different parts of their personality become stronger. For example, imagine someone who feels shy when speaking their first language. They worry too much about what others think. But when they speak English, they suddenly become more confident. They smile more. They take more risks in conversations. Why does this happen? One reason is that using another language creates a little distance from your usual habits. You aren't trapped by the same automatic reactions. You have a chance to try a different version of yourself. A student once described this feeling in a simple way. She said that in her native language, every mistake felt personal because she had spoken it all her life. But in English, mistakes felt like part of the adventure. Instead of feeling embarrassed, she laughed and kept talking. Over time, that confidence didn't stay only in English. It slowly became part of her everyday life too. Of course, this change doesn't happen overnight. It grows little by little. One conversation. One new word. One mistake that teaches you something valuable. That's why patience is so important. You may not notice the progress from 1 week to the next, but after a year, you might look back and realize you have become more curious, more open, and more confident than before. So what can you do with this idea today? Try spending just 10 minutes thinking in the language you're learning. Don't worry if your sentences are simple. Look around your room and describe what you see. Talk to yourself while making breakfast. Ask yourself easy questions like, what do I want to do today? Or how do I feel right now? Your goal isn't to sound perfect. Your goal is to let your brain practice seeing the world through another language. At first, it may feel slow. Soon, it will feel more natural. And one day, you'll notice that you're no longer translating every thought. You're simply thinking. That moment is special because it shows that the language is becoming part of you. It's no longer just something you study from a book. It's becoming another way to understand people, ideas, and yourself. So the next time you struggle to remember a word, don't think of it as failure. Think of it as your brain building a new path. Every sentence you speak is changing something inside you, even if you can't see it yet. Keep going. Stay curious. The language you are learning is opening more than new conversations. It is opening a new way of thinking, and that journey may change you in ways you never expected.